Honorable Minister about the ways in which the Mudra loans are dispersed and monitored. There has been a lot of complaints about the way the loans are dispersed to the kind of beneficiaries and also a lot of NPAs. So they have answered my question. I had asked for the average rate of interest in all these Mudra loans, for which a range is given, which ranges from, if I take a public sector bank, it is 9.15 to 12.80, and if a private sector bank, 6.9, 6.28%. So my question is, what percentage of the loans are in the high end, 20 plus 28, and which means that a huge amount of interest is being charged? And what percentage has gone as NPA? Is there a mechanism from the government to monitor the outcomes of these Mudra loans? And also why there is so much of NPA coming in the Mudra loans? It is very evident from the minister's answer that they have no idea about what outcomes are being created, no idea about what is happening on the ground as far as Mudra loans are concerned, no idea why NPAs are so many, what is the reason for the high percentage of NPAs. My question again to the minister is, what is the mechanism you have to monitor the way in which these loans are disbursed, what rates they are being disbursed, what harassment people are going through because of recoveries, and what is the outcomes which is coming out of Mudra loans?
Permit me to answer this question, sir. The honourable member was right in saying the interest rate is a range that we've given, that it is in the public sector banks, it's about 9.15% to 12.80%. And for the private sector banks, it's about 6.96 to 28%. But we do have a mechanism through which we understand what is going on the ground. Every year data is collected and banks do follow it up. But of course, this recovery harassment is something which I want to very clearly put it on the table. Very welcome if the honourable member has instances of harassment going on somewhere, which we will definitely attend to. But no, the NPA numbers I'm willing to give here, because the honourable members asked, I will certainly give it. But recovery harassment is something which we've been very closely monitoring, and I can say for sure the public sector banks are very closely monitored, so also the NBFCs. But as I said, if there are cases, we are very willing to hear it. Sir, the NPA issue, we do have a system with which we collect the data. I want to put it before the honourable member through you, sir. The PM Mudra loan NPA on disbursement, and I will give it for every year since 2018-19, 19-20, 20-21, up to 23-24. So if anything, the NPA is only coming down. The public sector bank NPA on disbursement for Mudra loan was 3.76 in the year 18-19. Gradually, it did go up to about 4.8 in 19-20, 20-21, it went to 4.77. But now it's back to 3.4, in fact, lower than what it was at the beginning in 23-24. Now, private sector commercial banks, sir, Mudra loan NPAs were 0.67% in 18-19. It went up to about 1.77, 2021, the COVID year. Now, even for them, it's come down to 0.95%. RRBs also give Mudra loan. They had a 3.86% in 18-19 as NPA at disbursement, which has come down now for the RRBs to 2.47%. Small finance banks also give Mudra loans, and for them, NPA on disbursement is 3.38%, which went up to 3.09%, which actually reached to 0.39 during 2021, highest being in 18-19, but that has come down to 0.76%. So I want to highlight the fact that, sir, even state cooperative banks are giving PM Mudra loans. NBFCs, whose rate of interest is slightly higher than the public sector banks, even there, the NPA on disbursement was in 18-19 0.47, which has now come to 0.22. Overall, on Mudra loans, sir, it is at 2.10%, the NPA on disbursement.
Sir, मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ, I'd like to ask a lot of villages are adopted by certain nationalized banks. But the moment there are 2 to 3 defaulters in those villages, the entire village has to pay for it. And the banks refuse to give the other people in those villages, they may be farmers, they may be youth, loans based on the fact that the other two people from that particular village have defaulted. And then when they take the grievance to the collector often says that this is not, ye mere niyantran mein nahi hai, it is under the niyantran of the RBI. Because of which a lot of villages have not been able to avail of the facility of the Mudra loan. So, Madam Prime Minister, will something be done about this? And if there are just 2 defaulters in the village, will the entire village have to pay the price for those 2 people who have defaulted and not be able to get loans in the future?
Honourable Speaker, sir, the Honourable Member's case doesn't seem to fit in the way in which banking operations work. But if in case this is happening in her area, I will take it very seriously up, sir. This is absolutely not the way in which Mudra loan disbursement happens, nor can the banks go about saying if there are people who have defaulted, 1 or 2 in a village, the whole village. I'm not sure, this is not the written practice, ma'am, but of course if this is happening, and I take the honourable member's word every bit seriously, I like to take the inputs and see, get into the details of it, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Sir, the government has collected 6,14,036 crores up to 2023-24 as GST compensation cess, sir. But it released only 4,70,648 crore to states and has stopped giving compensation 2022. Sir, I want to know from the Honourable Minister through you, why the government is continuously collecting GST compensation cess even after they stop giving the compensation to states.
Sir, I'm not sure if it is related to this question at all, sir, because it relates to the cess collection on crude oil. But never mind, since the member has asked a question, I'll try to respond. Sir, GST compensation cess technically ended by 30th of June 2022. But with the consent and the collective decision-making process that happens in the Council, it has been extended till March 26, only because during the COVID time, since there was no collection for the GST, the assured GST compensation which had to be paid to the states could not be paid, and we had to borrow to pay it. The borrowing happened with the Council's approval. The collection of the cess after June 30th, 2022 is only for paying that loan taken to pay the GST compensation cess, which was compensation which had to be paid during the COVID time. So that is the reason why compensation cess is being collected even now, because it goes purely to pay that borrowing which had been taken for giving the compensation to the states during COVID, and that is what is happening.